Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is LoreForged Live, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. I said LoreForged Live. That's our Twitch thing. Anyway, welcome to LoreForged. This is episode 18, and we are your hosts. I am Jibs, and we are joined tonight. Sonny couldn't make it. He's out saving the world one fire at a time, or learning how to save the world one fire at a time at the Academy. I don't know what he's doing. I'm going to be completely honest. But I know he sent those pictures.
Let me know if you want me to go into it. I know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, you can jump in a moment.
Sonny's at the National Fire Academy learning arson investigation things.
Perfect.
Other side.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So we reached out to our good friend, Ashes of Relation. Burns is here. How are you, bud?
Fantastic. So happy to be here.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you. We're going to jump in a little bit to all the things Burns and Ashes of Relation. So look forward to that. But yeah, man, I'm super stoked to have you with us here tonight.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here, actually, and instead of leaving multitudes of voicemails.
Multitudes. Yeah, man. So stoked to have you here. And
Bomb Slayer XX69 guy, he's a jerk.
Yeah, what a jerk. That dude.
Such a jerk.
Definitely a Reddit troll.
I think we found out who Victor is.
Burns?
Burns, are you Victor?
Man,
no, it's not me. Sorry, I don't know if that was good. Russian.
Oh, that's
it's
perfect.
Not the me, Victor from overseas.
Oh, and you heard him. Cash is here.
Hi guys. I think we need to do a little icebreaker with Burnsy.
Oh, absolutely.
And yes, I'm calling him Burnsy.
Oh, can I do this? I do this with my class every
yes.
Remote
Let's do an icebreaker.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay, so this is always a fun one. If you had to give your arch and nemesis a superpower, what superpower would you give them? Burns, you have to go first because you're the new one here.
Well, I mean, my arch nemesis, I want to give him a crappy superpower, but that's kind of boring. I'd rather give him a fun superpower. So when I kill them, then like it actually means something. So I would give them the ability to control time.
Ooh, okay. There you go. I like that. Cash, where's your head at?
I don't know. You really put me on the spot with this icebreaker. The ability to burp on command.
Ooh, okay. Perfect. I dig it. Mine is anytime they speak, they fart. That's what I'm going with.
That's an ailment, not a superpower. It's like he has a bowel obstruction.
No, it's called a Zenker diverticulum. That happens. It's true. It's gross.
Is it really? That's really a thing? Oh,
yeah. So you can get like this outpouching of your esophagus that goes back in food, and gross stuff will get stuck there. So every time these people open their mouths, it smells like poop. It's like they're farting every time they speak.
Oh, that's so gross.
See, or the actual bowel obstruction where your bowels completely back up, and then every time you open your mouth or burp, it smells like a fart.
Oh gosh, it's so gross. This show's taking such a turn.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, anyway, Burns, so stoked to have you here tonight with us, dude. And we're going to have a wonderful time. And so for everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much for pushing play, joining us here at the show. Today, we're answering your mail. We're going to learn more about Burns and Ashes of Relation, everything he's been doing over there on his YouTube channel, all the awesome things he's been doing. And of course, we're going to do, this is our dedicated episode for a discussion on the November Artisanship System Development Update. Whew, that's a tongue twister. But before we get started, gentlemen, we got mail. It's here. It's right here. Got mail.
I like mail. Did they slow boat mail to you again?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Cool. We should write them back and let them know that there's email now.
We could do gosh, I can't talk tonight. Calligraphy.
There you go.
Perfect.
Sign language.
Yeah. Wait, how's that going to work?
Hieroglyphics.
Even better. All right. So anyway, first email we got tonight is Wizzy McNasty. Oh, Wizzy. She says, "Hail, fellow adventurers. I value the energy you fellows are putting into the Ashes space. The community is better with you here. I look forward to watching your community and guild grow. Thanks for bringing us quality content with well-intended takes. When those Delia's Diaries episodes drop, I'll be the first to line up and gobble them up. I've waited years for someone to give the lore and love and content it deserves. Keep killing it, Wizzy McNasty. Well, that's really nice.
Thanks, Wizzy. That's really cool.
That's very easy ever.
We can promise you that lore is our stick. So we are going to be all over lore as we get more and as the game develops, and after launch and all that stuff, as that wiki starts to get bigger than it already is, which is mind-boggling to think about. But that lore will live here for sure.
Absolutely. Burnsy, are you a lore guy?
Converting?
I like when they start with
Cash is converting me. We did a collab video, and he's converting me. I'm gonna say yes, because I think in Ashes, if you know the lore, it will give you a little bit of a leg up. I think for quests, and I think there's probably gonna be some puzzle stuff where if you know the lore, you can breeze through it. So I'm gonna say yes.
All right, I dig it.
Ooh, I like puzzles.
Oh, and we also got a voicemail. This is from good old Sonny. I'm assuming he's calling from the Fire Academy, so let's take a listen.
Hello, this is Inspector Agent Smith calling from Crimea Bureau of, let's say, Investigation. Yes, looking into serious allegation, crime, American crime of, say, copyright violation perpetuated by a certain Victor. Serious allegation. It's definitely a legit investigation here in Crimea. I need you to contact me immediately by sending PayPal login information to xxbongslayer69@gmail.com. Totally legit Crimean government email address. Don't worry about that at all. Anyway, talk to you soon. Be sure send PayPal and login information. Thank you. Yeah, no, I that's it. I think it just hang up automatically, maybe. Yeah. No, they definitely bought it. Yeah, either way, I don't care. You owe me 100 rubles and bag of meth. Oh, wait, no. Your red button.
Bag of meth.
Oh boy.
Okay.
The country of Crimea, which definitely still exists.
Yes, I think we've pinpointed maybe where Victor's from, or the crime ring's from.
If we ever get sued, we know what country it's coming from.
Oh, Sonny.
Goodness. All right. Well, Burns, so dude, again, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. We're so stoked to have you here. So kind of want to learn more, a little bit about you, bud, and how you got started in content creation, because it's very obvious this is not your first rodeo.
That's very nice of you to say. I appreciate it. First, I just want to say, every Monday when I wake up and I start driving to work, I'm definitely not driving while I do it, but I whip open my phone, go to YouTube, and I listen to you guys on my commute to work every Monday morning. I'm stuck in traffic or whatever, but it doesn't matter because I'm listening to my boys on LoreForged. So thank you, because it is a joy every time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I think this podcast is going to be an event. I mean, right now, hey, we got a lot of people watching right now, and but as this keeps going on, and as the game actually maybe releases in some form, this is going to be a huge event, and so I am honored to be a part of it, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we're happy. To have
we
you
appreciate
here,
you being here. I think we've talked about it before, about how this has been a different content creator collaboration experience, way different than we've ever experienced with the folks here at AshesOfCreation, and guys like you and Nice Gaming and Richie and Vladis and Stakeno. I mean, it's just, we are building a little family, and that is something that I think a lot of times is unprecedented, because a lot of times things like this are just all about competition, and we don't sense that at all from anybody. It's more about helping each other out and collaborating and just trying to put our best foot forward for Intrepid so more eyes get on this game. And it's just been an amazing experience, and just your demeanor and who you are and what you're doing over at your YouTube channel. Like, that's why you're here, man. Like, we really, really respect and appreciate what you're doing.
Well, appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah. So Jibs is right. I have another YouTube channel that I started towards the end of medical school. So med school is hard to get into. There's my med school had a 4% acceptance rate. So there were like 4,600 applicants or something like that. And the entering class wasn't very big. So it's a hard thing to do. So I created a YouTube channel back then on how to play the game to get into medical school, like kind of a how-to for dummies almost. I'll post some clips on it. My hairline was much more advanced, and I I'm much younger, but I'll probably post some clips of that channel eventually on one of my videos. So I did that, and then I was like, I'm going to continue it forever. And then residency hit, and I was working 100-hour weeks, and I was like, you know what? I don't have any time for YouTube. I'm not going to be able to continue this. So I haven't added a video there for forever. So I enjoy making videos, and I was watching Rive Genesis. I was watching one of his videos. He was talking about how big guilds he thinks are going to have advantages and stuff. And this is several months ago, and so I was commenting. This is maybe 6 months ago. So I was commenting on his video, and then the next morning he released a video. He said the comments section strikes back, and he highlighted a few of my comments in there, and I was like, oh man, what a cool thing to do. What a cool guy. Like, I felt listened to, and that was so fun. And I was like, you know what, I've watched 1 million hours of Ashes stuff. I feel like I know a little bit about the game. Maybe I should start making stuff. And so then it went from there. And as I was kind of preparing, I saw some of the things you guys were doing, and I was like, man, the level of their production is so high. And so it was always like, hey, I'm here right now. You guys are up here. Let's at least try to move the needle to get a little closer to their production value. And so you guys have done a fantastic job with that, and really helping the Ashes creator space advance as a group. So that's been my experience so far.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you, man. That's super kind of you to say. When I listen to your videos, and I remember when I watched one of your first videos, and I remember having a conversation with Jibs and Sunny and said, hey, if you guys have not checked out Ash as a Relation, you have to listen to it, because this guy feels super at home, and he knows a lot about the game, and the way that he presents his videos there's just something about it that is very special. You have a very special style, and the way that I will explain your style personally is like, when I watch your videos, I feel like I'm wrapping myself in a nice warm Ashes of Creation blanket. That probably sounds so stupid, but it really is the best way to kind of wrap it up of how your style is. And like, how would you explain to people how your style differs from other content creators?
Well, appreciate it, man. That's a super nice compliment. So I try to make the videos that I would have wanted when I was consuming content, not just not producing as well, when I was only consuming. If I could, I wouldn't want to rename my channel right now, but if I could, it would be Ashes of Implication, because I feel like I take my channel, I take the topic, and then I talk about the systems that, maybe we just found out about, or maybe I pull some old ones in to intermix with some of the new ones we've discovered. And then I talk about the implications from that. Like, what is this going to look like when the game actually comes out? How are these systems going to pan out when the game launches, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, and from there? And I try to take kind of a Bob Ross approach with it. I think MMOs and video games sometimes, like you're saying, can have kind of a competitive edge to them, and in order for like a zero-sum game. And I don't think that's true. I think MMOs servers on MMOs, I think, can be elevated by having a better player population. I think if you have a server full of great people, everyone is going to have a good time. But if you have a server full of people that are just stepping on everyone to try to get ahead, then I think Ashes is going to be unique because that's actually going to drag the server down. But yeah, so that's my style. I try to do more implication type videos. Like, I think it's going to look like this, and then try to make some personal stuff in there too.
Yeah, and I think that's where that warm blanket comes in, because you're adding that personal stuff in there, and it made me want to get to know you, and here you are. Now you're here. Yeah, we love your stuff, man.
Appreciate it.
So when you talk like, server reputation, people in there, how they're acting and everything, is that what you look forward to in Ashes of Creation? Like, what's your shtick? Like, what's your thing that you just can't wait to do?
Yeah, totally. That's that and politics. So I love politics in game. I'm not talking about politics in the real world. I think gaming transcends politics in the real world. I mean, we had people in my Discord channel from all different walks of life, and no one really cares about current day, whatever. The society's telling us, hey, we should be split apart in all these different factions. Whatever. We're gamers. Like, gaming transcends politics. But anyways, I like in-game politics. So for example, when New World was still pretty fresh, I was in guild leadership and in my guild, and there was something I just got to go like hop in Discord with other people and be like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you guys like declared war on that territory and we did on this one at the same time. And so we would like split the enemy because they own two territories. And I thought the politicking was so much fun with that. And just getting to know people from all different walks of life was a blast.
I think.
And then,
sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you. Go ahead.
Did we lose? Oh no, we're back. I think we're back.
Yeah, we're here. We're good.
Yeah, okay, good. Anyway, so and then the server reputation too. I enjoy like when I see someone in town, I always see their avatar, whatever. I know something about them already. So when I'm looking for a tank, I'm looking for deeps or whatever. When people message me, it's like, oh, I know of this person at least, or I know of their guild and the reputation based off of that. Let's see how this interaction plays out.
Dude, I distinctly remember your name at the top of the leaderboard in a war when we were fighting against you when we had the Lore Seekers podcast going for New World at the time.
What?
Yeah, we fought in a war against each other multiple times. We were on the same server. And
no.
Yeah, because I remember distinctly Cash was healing. And I remember him at one point like, look at that guy's healing. What the heck? I mean, it was just an ungodly amount of healing that you put out. And
wait, seriously? We
really did. And because it took me for a minute the other day when I remember you bringing it up, and I forget where we were talking about it, but you had talked about New World before. I don't know if it was on our Discord server or what, but I distinctly remember fighting a Burns, and this Burns had a stupid amount of healing, and it was in our wars. Well, I think it was at least 2 or 3 wars that we were in. But yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And that probably sounds like me complaining about it too.
And
that part's probably true.
Dude, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Man, so we fought. My guild fought in. I mean, like I personally fought in over 300 wars in the first several months of the game, and it was. I got super lucky with the people, the core group of my guild that I played with. Fantastic people. I know a lot of people weren't as lucky to have that experience in New World. That's really what kept me in the game. It wasn't the content, that's for sure. There wasn't much of that. But like like we do the wars, and then afterwards we would watch film together. We would watch each other's VODs. We'd watch the VODs of the people that we had been fighting, and that was such a rewarding, fun. Like there was so much camaraderie there. We would roast each other if someone screwed up, or we'd attaboy. We'd praise each other if someone did well. So that was a lot of fun. But I had no idea we had fought together.
Yeah, you guys slaughtered us, but it was fun.
Yeah, but that was a daily occurrence. So Burns, you seem like you're so approachable and so friendly about all this stuff. But I think you said that you were in over 300 wars, bro. You are not a casual player. You're a neckbearder.
Yes, very, very.
Holy crap.
That's a formidable amount,
Yeah, I tend to try to find kind of neck beard, a little sweaty, somewhat Chibi. She was like, oh yeah, hey, we want to have you on, we want to have a hardcore perspective, so why don't you come on Golden Feather, which I was on a month and a half ago. And I was like, hardcore perspective, am I hardcore? And then when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, I guess sweaty. Yeah, I can get sweaty with stuff. And like the healing, I thought it was I set the meta on the server, and this, I'm not trying to brag, but I set the healing meta on our server, and the exact same healing meta got set on all other servers. I'm not saying I did anything revolutionary. Our server would have caught up to that if yeah. But when I did it, I had healers from everywhere, every faction messaging me, hey, what's your build? What kind of gear you got? What are you doing? and I was like, oh yeah, here's my build, and I sent it to him, and then we get an award with people the next time, and I was like, oh crap, I gave my build to these people that were fighting, and I was kind of naive, and so it was the whole New World politics experience. That was a crash course in leadership generally, and I loved your guys' discussion last week about guild leadership and all that stuff, because there's so many implications behind that, and I can tell you've had some really successful and at times tumultuous guilds because the way you talked about that. That was a fantastic listen.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. And it is, I'm hearing you talk about all this stuff with New World and getting sweaty with your New World guild and stuff. And I am seeing that for Ashes of Creation, exponentially. I think that it is going to get gnarly. And I think just one of the questions that I'm just throwing this one at you. It's like a hopper question. I'm gonna throw this one at you just based off the conversation. But how do you think it's going to work with pre-launchers? So many people like us, just building relationships and having a great time doing it. Do you think that it would be better to have friends and content creators and all those people together on the same server? Or do you think they should split? And
I'm looking for Vladis in the chat here.
I know he's
he's lurking.
He's typing. He's typing right now.
I think it depends on your goal, right? So if you got really sweaty goals, and if you plan to achieve those goals by whatever means necessary, then yeah, probably wouldn't want to be on the server with anyone. I mean, within anyone that you know, inside or outside of the game, because yeah, that'll probably cause some drama. But if you want to play with friends, you want to have a good time, and yeah, you might have lofty goals, but you care about how you get there. Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile. The problem is you can't have too many predators on the same prairie, because for better or for worse, there is scarcity in Ashes. There's scarcity of castles, there's scarcity of freeholds, there's scarcity of resources, and there will be scarcity of top crafters as well.
That's a good point. Honestly, there's a real part of me that feels like if we were all in a server together, I feel like I could separate content creator from in-game activity, but I don't think that the entire community can do that thing. So I could totally see where drama could arise, Yeah. But honestly, I would love if we were all in the server together, because number one, that'd be hilariously fun for content.
Yeah.
Just everybody in there doing their thing, especially if we could plan stuff. But anyway, yeah. Yeah.
What I want to do with that is with alpha. I want to play on the same alpha servers with, with the creators.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then when it comes to launch, yeah, there's going to be, yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting
after alpha, but yes.
Yeah. Where everyone goes. Wonder if it's just going to split. But anyway, so yeah. All right. So Burns, where can they find you at on the socials and your YouTube? And when do you what's your release cadence? What's that look like for the people?
So Ashes of Relation on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm not super active there. And then, yeah, just YouTube pretty much. And I release content probably once a week. Over the past little bit, I've been doing slightly more than once a week. Announced the new project that both you boys are part of. So go to my channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then a new episode for that, which will include clips from both of you, will be on Saturday. So that'll be my next video.
Gosh. Ooh, so the first video of the new thing is Saturday?
Yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah, folks, go check it out. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And if you want to get the style of how Burnsy does his videos, like right off the bat, you're going to get a real good taste of it. It's just, it's funny and it's going to be fantastic. So just go to his channel. Check it out.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. All right, gentlemen. Well, it is that time of the evening where apparently my cats flip over a chair in the background. Sorry. Anyway, where we discuss the November development update on the Artisanship system. So for all of you who are tuning in or watching over here at LoreForged Live, we're going to be referencing the YouTube video quite a bit. That's the source that we're going to be referencing today. But guys, I'm just going to open this up. And Burnsy, I'm going to you. And we'll just go wherever this takes us. There's no real rhyme or reason with this. But what did you think of that development update? What we saw there?
I freaking loved it. It was so good. It was such a Steven take on a classic system from MMOs, right? I mean, Steven takes these, usually traditional systems that have some flaws in them, but hey, they're functional enough to be in most MMOs. But he takes this approach with it where he adds and removes certain elements. And so, for example, makes it so you can't specialize in anything and everything. I think that was fascinating. And we should probably talk about that for a while. And then also the sub recipe system, the recipe experience system, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy because whenever we do these, whenever they do those streams and these updates, you go in with knowing you're going to learn about one thing. But it always seems like you walk away with 5 or 6 nuggets, that you didn't know you were going to get, that end up being great for conversational pieces and just fun to discuss and talk about.
Case in point, the Node showcase, the recent Node showcase, the mayoral showcase. I had no idea we were going to find out about commodities.
Yeah.
Right? So player commodities and then node commodities, which are completely separate things. They don't really even have any overlap yet that we know of. And I rewatched that live stream, and that live stream I would say is maybe number 1 for me for this year. When initially, right after I watched it, I was like, oh, we didn't get to see any nodes level up. We just saw the same thing over. And but then when I rewatched, I was like, oh, holy crap, there was a lot to that.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of what they're doing is they are in each one of these showcases, they seem to be upping the bar a bit with the amount of information that they're giving, but they're doing it in a very, very good flow. So the only reason I know this is because the last 3 I've been tasked with taking notes and just bullet pointing all the stuff. So I'm trying to watch, but I'm feverishly typing because there is so much information getting listed. And, to go back to the way that they're doing it, the one thing that I really love, and this is kind of a little bit of a sidebar, but I love the way that Steven interacts with his employees. You can tell that Intrepid is just a super fun and open working environment because they're always joking with each other. There was something that I was re-listening today again in preparation for the show, and I was just driving around with the YouTube video playing, listening to the audio, and there was a part that I contemplated not covering, but I have to cover it because I was Christmas shopping today and I was laughing my ass off in the car all by myself, which probably looked incredibly creepy, but it was really funny. So in regards to Steven had gotten to the agricultural vendor or the agriculture. I forget what you call that guy. What was he called? The agricultural supply, right? So he's at the agricultural supply and he's trying to get some stuff done to get some of his artisanship stuff leveled up so he can make this sword he needs. And he's talking about how the NPC is reacting to him. Like, does this guy even know who he's talking to? So that kind of cracked me up. But there was one part where if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed it. But Steven said, wait, what's this? He wants me to show him my crude sickle. And I don't know who it was, because it was Mike, Corey, Alex, and Nathan were all there. And I'm not sure which one of them said it, but one of them said, you should do that and we'll turn away. I lost it because I did not, I was so lost in taking notes when it was live that I missed that. And so the way that they intermix all of this information in, and then he will bring on his developers, at certain times. He might not see or maybe even talk to these developers for weeks at a time. But when he does, he always welcomes them as his glorious developers, this or that. And I love that. I think it really adds to the spirit of every one of these development diaries or the development updates when they do this. And it lets us all a little bit behind the veil to see that with all this work going on, the work environment there is really, really, it's fun and inviting. And that is what is going to make this game really good, is the passion behind these people.
And he's so respectful with his employees too. They'll joke and stuff, but he's never demeaning. I mean, this guy is worth tens of millions of dollars, and he's so respectful with these people, and it's great to see that. And then also the fact that they can joke with him. It's not just like him joking and everyone, all the yes men, ha ha ha, you're so funny. No, their joke, it goes back and forth.
Yeah, agreed. And honestly, they've brought it up. So when we were getting ready to launch LoreForged, I was just devouring these development updates, trying to get caught up from 3 years of just, what has taken place. And so I would listen to them in audio form when I would drive into work. And so as I'm driving into work, it was brought up numerous times about the hiring. And typically they do that, the studio update section, right? And they talk about how 1 month they hired 7 people out of 2,000 applicants. And I'm just like, whoa, just incredible amount of people. But also the thing that stood out to me was just how the follow-up with that was the camaraderie that they do have there, and how it feels like a family, and how important, that's a part of the hiring process is, hey, how's this person going to fit in the family kind of thing, So with all of us seeing so many MMOs being developed over the years, and just kind of seeing how things kind of play out sometimes, whether better or for worse, it's refreshing in a lot of ways to see a company that is, where the owner can take one on the chin and laugh about it, and, everyone can have a good time and just have fun and make jokes and make a great game. And we're in this space, in the MMO space, where MMO players, we play every release because we get so few of them, And it's just so special, I think, just to have a company that's like, hey, this is us. This is our game. Come have some fun. It's cool.
Yeah, they can laugh at each other. And I think that shows in each one of these development showcases. And I really think that is going to show in the quality of work that comes out of the studio. Burns, I want to take a little bit of a turn here and talk a little bit about some of the other MMOs that you've played in the past, or maybe some of your past history with playing different games. And how would you feel that this artisan system, which is for lack of a better term, that's the term they're using for their crafting and gathering system. But how would you feel how this artisan system for Ashes of Creation compares to, say, some of your favorite or your least favorite other MMOs out there?
So there were things about New World's crafting that were fantastic. There were things about World of Warcraft that I liked. ESO. And then I played SWTOR for a little bit, but played it like a solo game. I didn't really play with the guild. So the crafting in Ashes, I think, is taking the good things of other MMOs and leaving the bad things. So the good things it's taking, the experience you gain from crafting certain things. I thought that was fascinating. I've re-listened to that part maybe 5-6 times just to try to figure out, okay, wait, what are they talking about? So there are different, there's the things you need to put in, and then there's the things you can put in. I'll have to get the wording on that right. But there's the optional and the mandatory. So you can change out on the mandatory items or materials that go into building an item. You can change out the rarity on those, and that'll increase the rarity of the item. You can also on the optional materials, you can change those out, and it will create a different product. So these are different sub recipes. And then if you make the sword that he made, the Nightman sword, whatever it was,
was it the Night Stalker sword or something like that, which actually looked really cool.
I think it was the Nightblade.
Nightblade, that's it. Sorry. Thank you.
Master of the Nightblade. So the Nightblade cometh. Okay, so yeah, the Nightblade, if you make a bunch of those, then your skill in that will increase. And so people can niche down even more to develop names for themselves on their servers, to get reputational stuff. Oh, hey, you want a Nightblade? You know who makes the best Nightblade? Jibs. Go over to Jibs at this node on maybe the other continent or whatever. And that is going to provide so many unique social opportunities. And it's the social stuff that keeps people in MMOs, I think. So it's taking the best from other systems, and then it's leaving the bad stuff. For example, the how like in New World, you could be anything and everything. I like that it's making scarcity and you have to pick.
So
how about you guys?
So on that note, when you're talking about crafting, like particular items that getting the experience for, how do you think that's going to affect guilds?
Yeah, it'll probably make people niche down even further. So what's interesting is when you have a big enough guild, you're going to have people who have the same profession. And there's going to be some level of, hey, that guy's a better weaponsmith than me. And, he's higher level than I am. But what you can do though is you can niche down. Let's say I'm in your guys' guild and you make the best Nightblade. You're way ahead of me in terms of experience with all the different recipes and stuff. I can put all my money into one unique recipe that you don't have, and I can niche down into that. I can make a bunch of those. So I make these solid axes. Everyone's like, oh, go to Burns. He's the best axe smith for making the Dayman axe. And so you can still find ways to be helpful in your guild with this system. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to build a lot more camaraderie too. When you talk basically specialization, per character, and it just makes it to where it can really be a communal experience. It's, you mentioned ESO, and ESO, we were there for, I think 3 years. And when we were there playing, it's, from a crafting standpoint, everybody can do everything, and it totally took out the need for dependency on another player, or the camaraderie that could have developed had not everybody be able to do everything, And so I think you're right. I think you're going to see a lot of people niche down. I know I'll probably be one of those people because I'm not going to be able to neckbeard every part of the game all the time. So it'll be like, hey, I am awesome at making hammers. Cool. That's my thing, making hammers, whatever. So, that makes a lot more sense, I think, for a lot more casual people as well. And it's exciting, too, because it still allows us to be valuable. Like parents working 40, you were talking 100-hour weeks, people who are working crazy hour weeks that they still want to play and be viable. Well, they can still do that thing,
One of the things...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I definitely didn't do any gaming during residency. That was a dark black hole of my life. I was I lived in the hospital, but then I always had it in my mind. I was like, you know what? When I'm done with residency, then I'm going to start gaming again, and I'm going to go hard.
Well, you did during New World. Well done. I'm still picking up my pride from all that.
We're going to talk about this afterwards.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that I've been saying about this game since we started covering it was that it feels to me like Ashes of Creation is a melting pot of all of the best aspects of every MMO that you've ever loved. And when I think about crafting the artisanship system in particular, and they even mentioned it in the video in the dev update, it really does feel very Star Wars Galaxies. And having been a veteran of that game, I remember specifically going after certain items in the game. And I remember when I had to find those items, I would literally have to talk in like global chat or city chat and ask people, hey, who's the go-to weaponsmith in Coronet, or who's the go-to weaponsmith in, whatever city I was in. And invariably somebody would pass me on to somebody and say, give me coordinates for where their shop was. And the person did not have to be online, but you would travel out on your speeder to their shop. And I just remember that distinct sound of those like facility or shop doors opening, just, in Star Wars fashion. They would open up and then you'd come in and, this is circa 2002, 2003. So it would take a second for everything to load in this shop because it was just packed with stuff. And then all of a sudden it would just completely load and you would see T21s and E11s and all this stuff just displayed on the wall in this weaponsmith's shop. And I just remember the feeling that gave me, like, I wonder how long it took this SOB to make all of this shit. But I would be so impressed. And then lo and behold, you're paying a lot of credits to get the very best items on that server in the game at that time, because this was the dude. And sometimes you would just save and save and save and save until you could afford it, and it would be so worth it to spend the credits and get that super high-end item. And I see this happening in Ashes of Creation just because of the love that they are giving to the systems that were in Star Wars Galaxies, and they have that crafter relevancy as a major part of the game. So I'm very, very excited to see who the best people are at animal husbandry, or cooking right before you go out. Just like Sonny's talking about, I want to sell this stuff in my tavern, so people visit my freehold and buy my materials when they're getting ready to go out and do a big raid, or that they're going out and they're going to explore and they want such and such buffs. So it is creating a very niche thing within the community, and like you were saying earlier, Burns, like there's going to be a cap on it. There's going to be some very exclusive things happening in very exclusive places in the game, and I'm just super excited for that feel again.
So Sonny's going to have his diner. Do you guys plan on running businesses?
No way, dude. There's cockroaches in that thing. We're not doing that. I mean, like,
the health department's already closed it down.
Absolutely. Dunzo.
The Crimean Health Department.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, he's all. That's one of our goals, is to get him a freehold for his tavern and get him to be a mayor, because gosh, that guy would. I feel like to be a successful mayor, it takes a certain kind of, really like any profession in real life, like it takes a certain kind of person to do that, And so like with him in a game like this, that's right up his alley. So we're like, okay, get him a tavern, get him a city, and just watch him go, and avoid all the cockroaches in his diner. But I think it's going to be a good time no matter what. You talk about having stalls, Cash and Ashes, and I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like, that's one thing I genuinely look forward to. I would love a freehold because I'm an Indiana boy and I love farming. I love horses. So hey, if I could do that in Ashes, heck yeah, I'm all aboard. If you walk by and I'm sitting there milking cow like Steven did, Heck yeah. Raising.
Okay, how about Cash talking about funny Steven moments? Remember when Steven was like, they're like, oh, you can milk this cow. And he's like, the cow has horns. I don't know if I should milk this thing.
I do remember that. Yeah, like we don't have a cow. We have a bull. I'm gonna go wash up.
Oh, that's so good. Oh man. Oh, I look forward to it.
Yeah. For myself, I really am looking into diving into the hunter aspect of being a ranger. I don't know necessarily that I want to have a stall someplace. It might turn out being that way, but I really want to be. I want to hunt and I want to tan. So I want to be a grandmaster tanner so that I can sell those materials. I can sell the best hides to crafters. That's really kind of what I want to do. I think it will, there's going to be times where I'm just going to kind of want to zone out and, maybe not do group content, but just want to go hunt. And I kind of get into my characters that way, and I can just kind of go off into the wilderness and explore and do that kind of stuff. But really, I think that's the niche that I want to hit right off the bat. And if that's what I do right off the bat to make some money and, put some coin in my coin purse, then I think that's where I want to land.
So Burns, what did you think about the crafting UI overall from what we saw on that update?
Crafting UI, thought it looked good. I thought it was functional, which is amazing because it's very complex. There are a lot of little things that they showed off, which sure, the UI, I mean, it doesn't have all the wood trim and all. It's not, hasn't been engineered to like be a dopamine hit when you see certain things. But it showed off the back end programming, which is stout. Like it looks like it is very capable, and the things that they have set up for that looks fantastic. What were your thoughts?
I feel the same way. I'm going to be honest, and it's I feel like the more and more these development updates go, that just the more it becomes this way in my eyes. I like the fact that it's, I don't mean this derogatory, but the UI in a lot of ways looks very vintage, like old school MMOs. Very straightforward, no extra bells and whistles and huge neon glowing and everything. Like, no, hey bro, here's what it is. It's super functional. We get the job done. And it looks pretty. And I love that. I love the fact that it's so incredibly simple. Because I'm incredibly simple.
I can attest.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But no, honestly, it's just, I loved it. I love, every time I see the UI, it's always like just an extra treat, on these updates, because it's simple. It's old school in a lot of ways to me. It doesn't have a lot of like foo-foo stuff all over the place. It's good. I like it.
One thing I think it needs, though, like when he leveled up, for example, there was that kind of green thing that went up, and that needs more. Obviously, I mean, this is like pre-Alpha 2 stuff.
Right.
Obviously, there's going to be more. But New World, they implemented it after, because the game released as a beta, and so they, like, when you would level up with an artisan skill, it then like was a big deal on the screen, and it told you what level you were and stuff. That was nice, and I anticipate them doing something more like that later. And if they don't, then that's probably going to be a lot of fee. Maybe I'll make a video on it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, and that was one thing, you mentioned SWOTOR earlier. I remember the level up animations in SWOTOR, and it was always a celebration. Whenever you would go from like 8, 9, 10, whatever their level was. But yeah, making it a little bit more of a celebration. And obviously it's like not the main leveling track by any means, but it's an important leveling track. So yeah, I totally agree. I think that'd be, making it more of a personal moment would be very fitting.
I love that you called it a dopamine dump. That makes me laugh because and I totally agree with you on the fanfare. It does need to be upped a little bit. I don't need like I'm not one of those like, oh, instant satisfaction guys. I have to like, I need everybody to see what I did. Everybody. I don't, but
Server-wide announcement.
I want to have a little private celebration every time I level up. So yeah, I would like to see maybe a little bit more love. And I know that the UI and these animations, these are not final at all. It's all this stuff is still a work in progress. There's still a lot of work to be done. So with the level up thing, yes, agree with you 100%. I am going to disagree about the simplicity of the UI. I love the fact that it's simple. I love the fact that it's classic, but I have two different branches I can take it here. One going with a very classic, or maybe you do have some very classic taverny, medieval themed wood grain, very nice, very pretty backgrounds and such on the UI. That would be super cool. Classic RPG with some flavor. But at the same time, I did fall into the freaking trap of falling in love with New World's new style, modern UI. I loved it. That was one of the things that got me the most. And I do see a little bit of that in Ashes of Creation. And when I say that, I mean specifically, it reminded me a lot of New World when he was going through that crevasse in the Highwayman Hills, and he comes through, and then the location just very, very gently, very subtly, but very classically just pops right up on the screen in front of him. And I went, that's like New World. And I freaking love that. So if they could do some nice mix of making it more classic, yet with a modern touch, oh my gosh, it would absolutely get me. Because I'm not going to lie to you, one of the first things that caught me above the visuals of New World was how freaking beautiful and sleek their UI was. I dug it. So there, stick that in your craw and smoke it.
Oh, I'm offended.
So, what did you guys? There was a comment in chat that made me think. There's a podcast called The Voices of Era. It's with Is There No One Else and some other guy. I can't remember his name, but I just can't remember.
Well played. Do you need a reminder?
Oh, a reminder. That would be nice to have a reminder, but I don't think
it'd be really nice.
It's fine.
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us tonight.
So I think Nice brought up a really good point that when it was like you had to pick the class, right? You had to either pick your two grand mastery professions in either gathering, refining, or crafting. And now you can split them. They don't have to be in the same one. What's your guys' take on that?
Go ahead, Kashi.
I'm very happy about that. It gives us a little bit more flexibility. I know it was a recent change, but just like I was saying, that gives me the ability to grandmaster hunting and to grandmaster tanning. That's exactly what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't have been able to do that and supply the very best things to my crafters. So I think it opens things up quite a bit, and let's go through that a little bit. So you can be an apprentice in 5 things, a journeyman in 4 things, a master in 3, and a grandmaster in 2. So the grandmaster thing is really where you are going to truly specialize in the things that you're doing, but it still makes you insanely effective to be able to gather and craft those like the lesser resources that are still going to be viable at endgame. Don't forget those some of the things that you're going to use at the very beginning of the game are still going to be required to make base items, which will be the catalyst for much more powerful items in crafting later on. So that's what a lot of that crafter relevancy is all about too. Is that even lower level items are going to be very, very coveted. But I like the change. I'm very, very excited about being able to do exactly what I wanted to do in the game as an artisan.
What do you think, Jibs?
So I'm really glad you brought this up. In a lot of ways for me, I like this change. There's a part of me that wonders if it's too much, but the majority of me feels like this is the right move, and here's why. Remember when Burns, did you play WildStar?
No, that was med school and residency.
Yeah.
That was a very dark time in your life.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So WildStar brought back hardcore MMO gameplay when the market wasn't ready for it. It was the players from, it was trying to grab a hold of players from the vanilla Warcraft experience. So, the hardcore 40-man raids, all, just that very hardcore scene. And the market wasn't ready for it yet. I feel like if Ashes of Creation kept it the old system, and I don't necessarily just mean like in this instance, but I'm going to use this as an example. If they would have kept it in the old version, I feel as though it may have been too much, a little too hardcore for the MMO population. And I don't want to take away from the fact that this game is for a very specific, for a specific kind of player. It's not for everybody. Steven said that numerous times, right? But you also want to garner the MMO audience of what is the atmosphere of the MMO genre currently? Where is it at? And I feel like you don't want to make decisions that completely cut you off from those people. So my point is giving a little leeway, even though it may not be 1,000% what I'm looking for, or maybe I feel like maybe it's just opened up maybe a little too much. Overall, I feel like this will be better for getting the general population of MMO players. It's more inviting for them, knowing that they can master two things than just one. So I feel like from a population standpoint for the game, I feel like this will probably be inviting.
It's much better than having everybody be able to do everything, because that waters it down like insanely. And they want to funnel people toward group play and collaboration and cooperation with others. And I know there's a lot of people out there that play the game, that are going to play the game solo, and like that's fine. There's certainly a place for that, and there's certainly a way for lone wolfers to contribute to a node, for sure. But at the same time, this is a massively multiplayer online game. People should be grouping, and I love the fact that through this system, it's a very needed system. People are going to need the best gear. The best gear are going to come from Grandmaster Crafters. In order for that Grandmaster Crafter to be successful, in order for you to get that gear in your hands, there is a process that takes place from the animals on the ground that somebody is having to kill, through acquiring magical items and refining and processing that stuff until a crafter can finally make it and it ends up in your hands. I would love to see how many people, which would have been a really good thing for us to do when that video came out. Maybe we'll watch that video and see how many hands that those items have to touch before they can end up as an end product. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that not everybody can do everything all at once.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah, completely agree. Not everyone can do everything. Love that. Steven's always been like, hey, two different things to master. And then the change now with it being more flexible. If you're looking on a spectrum of hardcore to casual, this is a half step towards more casual. So it's an interesting move. It'll be interesting to test it out. But if Stakano made a video about this, and there was some host on, or some guest on there, I can't remember his name, but it's like there was like a movement towards a little bit more casual. And let's say, what if Steven says, oh, actually, we're actually going to bump it up to 3? Then everyone's going to be like, oh, great. Then I can be a skinner, I can be a tanner, and then I can be a leather worker too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so it's going to be finding that balance between hardcore and casual that makes it doable. So I can see what you're saying, Cash, where that fits what you want, because you want to be able to skin, and then you want to be able to tan, and then you take those leather products and then give them to someone to craft stuff with. So I can see how it fits that well. It gives people more flexibility. But yeah, it's gonna be good to test out the hardcore to casual spectrum.
Yeah, and I think by like for myself, in simplifying, and I don't know exactly how tanning per se is going to work, but I would imagine, once you get like the best leathers from some of the hardest things to hunt, then there's going to be the ability as a grandmaster tanner to be able to infuse that, say, with essence, and then that is the material. That's the very highly sought after material that you sell to a crafter so that they can make, leather armor pieces or something like that. I want to see that fleshed out more. And I just don't think that the systems are either there yet or they're really showing that to us yet. The other thing that I'm very, very interested to see, which I was a little surprised I didn't see with this, and there wasn't much talking about it, what was surveying. The surveying thing, I think, is maybe if that gets added later, that would be awesome. But surveying for resources, if you're not sure what that is, basically would be a way to survey for resources to see what areas of the ground that you're in or the area that you're in will have richer resources for you to focus on, for say, like, if you're mining or things like that. And that is very much a Star Wars Galaxies system, which I loved. Burns, I love this conversation that we're having about the ins and outs of the artisanship. The one thing that I wanted to hit as we kind of close out the topic is, what do you think mostly stands out to you as the most unique part about this system, or what part about artisanship as presented really resonates with you?
I like the scarcity of it. I like how, because when I was in the early days of New World, my guild, we had a few people who were getting their skills up, and like my buddy Tom was an arcanist. Everyone knew, hey, he was probably the best arcanist on the server, because do you remember all the chest runs that people had to do?
Oh yeah.
Gosh. So
yeah.
That's an aside. Like, when you should make the most fun content have the best rewards. New World was like, oh no, let's make the worst, most mind-numbing content have the best rewards.
Let's go grind out in the Shattered Mountains for hours on end. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, poor New World.
And even Morningdale, which is the top right part of the map, there was a chest run you could do, which would drop best, like the top tier stuff. And that was terrible, man, because at least in Shattered Mountain, you would go with friends to do these chest runs. And that was, that had some charm. But friggin' Morningdale, you just go by yourself. It would be these trains of solo players running all these weird chest runs. That was terrible. But anyways, my friend Tom, he got one of the crafting trophies had 3 tiers. The lowest and the highest tier, those dropped fairly frequently. But the one in the middle didn't, hardly ever. It dropped once on the server, and it was to my buddy Tom. So he was the best arcanist, and I used him, and I made life staffs all over. I cornered the life staff market, and it was a fantastic period of time. But eventually other people caught up, and the people who caught up, then they were specialized in anything and everything. And so it didn't feel unique. These, part of my buddy Tom, his identity was gone as a result, which was sad, because everyone's like, oh man, Tom, the best arcanist. Now it's just like, oh, Tom, an arcanist.
An arcanist. Poor Tom. I know. And I don't want to see that happen here. I want to see certain crafters make a good solid run for as long as they want, until, they fall off or they're not doing that anymore and somebody else, takes the helm on it. But I really would like to see people making a name for themselves on the server, and it's sticking. Like, that is so unique to me. And it's insanely unique for modern MMOs for right now, because it's unprecedented right now.
Think about the business relationships. So, like, you're going to be a skinner and then a tanner. Your best business relationships are going to be with the leather workers. Like, you are going to have these weird business relationships with the leather. You are going to know all of the leather workers, maybe on your continent or something, on one side of Vera, because there's going to be a limited number of them, and you are going to be able to have the best leather to provide them to make your special chaps or whatever,
Yeah, and imagine the trickle down effect from that too. If you have the best material for whatever craft you're doing, right? And there's people all the way down the line that count on your materials. Imagine having to get your materials from point A to point B and have to worry about bandits along the road. You think you're going to have some people there that are going to help your product get to its destination?
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful system. And along with that, along with the fact that you're going to have those mechanics in the game, that is where we are going to make our stories. Our stories will come from events like that. I needed to get a shipment of my best leathers, my best hands to so-and-so crafter 3 nodes away. And because of that, I had people show up in droves. And it just so happens they were all leather wearers or leather workers because they needed that commodity to make it there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. It's going to happen in Ashes of Creation.
Yeah, I agree. That's just going to make the whole gathering side, like I'm watching Vladis Gaming chat, so that's why I want to be a gatherer. You know, like on that whole experience as a gatherer, especially while you're moving a caravan with goods that you absolutely care about. Oh, absolutely.
Wizzy says she wants to gather corpses. Does that count as useful? Wizzy, you are way too nice to be that evil in game.
Oh, that's funny.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Burns, where can the people find you? And do you have any exciting teases for projects coming up? Anything you're working on?
Okay, I will. I didn't say the name of it earlier, but I will now. So yeah, you can find me Ashes of Relation YouTube, and then on Twitter. I'm kind of on Twitter, and then yeah, I'm working on. So Steven has a fantastic vocabulary. There's been studies that show the bigger someone's vocabulary is, the smarter they are. And Steven's very big. He says the word bespoke all the time. Like he says it, I mean, like a lot. And I had to look up what bespoke meant. Through context clues, I kind of figured it out. But I was like, so I looked it up, and I am, I'm interviewing a bunch of creators. I ask them all the same series of questions, and then each episode will be different questions that I have asked the creators, and then I'm going to splice those together and ship them out. So you can watch my trailer for the series coming up. So I released that yesterday, and then the first episode of my bespoke series will be Saturday.
Perfect.
It's beautiful.
I can't.
It'll be very
That
bespoke.
trailer was so funny. Watching the clips you pulled from everybody, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious.
How long did it take you?
Your eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, dude, that it came together so seamlessly just because talking with you guys and a few of the other creators like Zillin, freaking Q, some of the things he said, just gold, right? Like, and so when I could splice some of those together, it was super quick. It was super fun. And then I sent it to you guys just in advance, like, hey, what do you think? And positive receptions, like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead with this then.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to go.
I appreciate your help.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, man. We absolutely love having you on the show, and I can say having you as a friend, I think this is really going to be a pretty amazing experience creating for Ashes of Creation, trying to bring more people into the space to see the game, get their eyes on it, and hopefully fall in love with it like we have, and then get their hands on it eventually when Alpha 2 comes out and all the subsequent test phases and then the game launch. That is our ultimate goal. And I got to tell you, man, you're doing a great job. There's some just fantastic content creators out there just doing such good work. And we're so blessed to be a part of it. So thanks for being on with us, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
My pleasure. I'm sorry to miss out on Sonny. He's probably going to be on season 2 of Bespoke. But hey, anytime you guys let me know and I'll come join. I did want to say one thing. So Galwood, I'm sure you guys have heard that name, seen him in chat.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic takes. General, he disagreed with me one time, and that was a terrible take of his. But otherwise, it was a great. Otherwise, he has great takes. Galwood, I recommend you content create. I think more content creators make more like it's almost a self-feeding machine that we have where it generates hype and it benefits everyone. So if you're thinking about content creating, I mean, this goes to anyone who's listening. If you're thinking about doing it, do it. This community is special. Getting to talk to guys like Jibs and Cash, this is special. It's a fun experience. I recommend content creating. So go out and do it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, and if you need any help, reach out.
Absolutely.
Like that, we are all about that. I would venture to guess there are no content creators in the Ashes space that would not help. So if you have questions or if anybody wants to learn how to content create, then shit, man, get a hold of us.
Good
Happy
people.
Good people.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, come join us in the content creation world. Ugh. Well, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a LoreForged podcast, episode 18. We hope you enjoyed yourself here. Thank you so much for pushing play with us on YouTube and all the comments, interactions we get to have with you all there or over on our podcast RSS feeds. If you enjoyed what you heard, let us know. Take a moment and leave a review on whatever podcast app you're using. For every 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the air. And gentlemen, we have one today from our good friend, and she's in chat, Wada from the US of A. Yeah.
Sweet.
She says, I started listening to podcasts a few years back when I was looking for a well-rounded ESO podcast, a podcast that gave updates about the game, some lore, and some tips for gameplay. I came across Lore Seekers, which Jibs and Cash hosted at the time. They had all that in their episodes, plus a bit of humor. When I found out that they were going to do a podcast about Ashes of Creation, I knew I had to listen. Where else was I going to get all the details about the game, discussions about possibilities of what could happen, and conversations about the dev updates? Now I get the added bonus of signing to the LoreForged team, making each episode a perfect blend of each host's perspective, but they managed to throw in a dash of silliness from time to time to keep it lighthearted and informative. Give these guys a listen. You won't regret it. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
She's still in
Watara.
here,
Super
Chad,
sweet.
yeah.
I do try and keep the podcast very, very professional, but I have to deal with a couple of dingbats on a weekly basis. So it kind of screws
You
me
shouldn't
over
talk
a little
about
bit.
Burns like that. He's the first time.
Burns is
guest.
a guest. I would never disparage Burns.
Why you got to be like that? Anyway, you can call us if you want. 516-875-1776. Keep your voicemails around a minute or less. We don't play on the show like good old Victor and what do we call it, Sonny?
Bonk Slayer.
Yeah, bonk. There it is. You can always email us
Victor.
as well at loreforgedhq@gmail.com. Cash.
Visit us on our website, loreforged.com. There's links there for everything that we're doing. Most specifically, our YouTube channel that you can find at youtube.com/@loreforged. Follow us on Twitch. If you're listening to this live, then you're already here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following. Twitch.tv/loreforgedhq. Don't forget about our Patreon. Our Patreon is a fun little community. We're harnessing a pretty fun little community there. One of the best things that you get out of that is our After Dark show where Cash says the F word way more than I do here. It's just super fun. We just pour a drink and kind of download about what we're doing with the community, with the show, projects that we have going on, and then we talk Ashes, obviously, of course, as well. And you can find us there at patreon.com/LoreForgedHQ. You can join our Discord community. Discord community is open for everybody, including content creators, and this is for fans of Ashes and folks who just want to hop in and play games. And hey, if you want to learn about content creation or about starting a guild, hop in and we can chit chat about that too. You can follow us on X. Jibs is at Jibs IRL. Myself is at Cash Quests. Sunny is at U of Coruscant until we can get him to change that from a Star Wars tag. Twitter address. Hopefully he's listening to this in a couple days. Anyway, and then most importantly, don't forget to follow the show at LoreForged HQ. What are you saying? Mention the calls, phone calls. What are you talking about?
No,
you want to call us?
No, I just mean the when you're on the Patreon bit. So all our phone calls that we recorded our phone calls when we were prepping to launch LoreForged. And
you mean all those things months ago that I would have totally forgotten had you not said that in the phone call.
Yeah.
yes.
The whole journey, man. It was a good time.
Yeah. So it's we do have some pretty cool stuff on Patreon, and one several of those are actual recorded phone calls of us talking about. We just hit record in the middle of phone conversations.
We did it
when we were doing planning for the very, very start of the show, and they're pretty fun to listen to. I mean, I'm on them, and they were pretty fun to listen to. Just a lot of back and forth and jargon and such. So, anyway, friends, we are still fundraising for Extra Life until the end of the year. If you have not given to Extra Life and you feel that you would like to do so, you can go to extra-life.org and search LoreForged, and you'll find our team, and you can make a donation for children's hospitals there. We have a couple of Discord members this week, some new Discord members in our server. We have Polars, and then somebody who is very quickly becoming one of our favorites, Wizzy McNasty, joined our Discord this week. So thank you very much for that. And look forward to this show coming out next Monday, and then our videos every Friday, and shorts in between.
There you go.
So there's that.
Friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Burns, dude, you're awesome. You're making great content. We're so stoked to call you friend and have you here, man.
Appreciate you. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on LoreForged. Take care.
Peace, love, and honeybees.